Then we went through the 90s, so the generation of the 90s, Generation X, who are now speaking in this time now. They're speaking in this time now, so we're not coming to rock the boat because we're just rocking the boat to get your attention. You just flicked us off. That was in the 60s. When we came and tried to incorporate and be part of the love system in the 70s, you had your separation there too. In the 80s, you tried to destroy our men and destroy our families with crack cocaine. Then we went through the 90s dealing with, gaining identity. A lot of good stuff happened in the 90s. But you had Generation X that was starting to come forward with Public Enemy and Terminator X and KRS-One and all those rappers that y'all didn't like to hear when he was putting them on the Donahue Show and all these different shows. So now, here we are in the 2020s. After all the boat rocking and all the dismissing and all the continue to kick us in the behind, then you went from kicking us in the behind to going in our behind with no grease and not doing anything what you were supposed to do, not doing your just due concerning us. So now we're at a place where we're capsizing boats now. We're capsizing boats. We're in the extreme now. Why? Because for 57 years, we've had to deal with extremes. And so here we are, and you want to cut everything that's being said, no matter how minute it is. If it's to the positive or cause people to think outside the box that they've been born into and put into, then you're clipping us. But we're going to keep on, as long as you can do it, we can do it. Right? Because this day that you dread is now upon you. Because the things that you have feared about the stamina of this people, the extraordinary prowess of this people, the extraordinary talent of this people, the extraordinary speech of this people, the extraordinary mental capacity of this people to get things done. That which you have feared most has come upon you. And so now you have people that, okay, you're going to punch, we punch back. You punching with 700 pounds, we punching with 9. So, you want to keep on playing, we can play with you. We've been trained not to be wore out. We've been trained not to be wore out. We've been trained. We distance runners, not sprinters.
Yeah, it is a marathon, definitely not a sprint. Right, so people, we are back on. I just did the population. We are back on. Every time they get to the point, I know they start clipping once we get to the crescendo. Every time I get to the crescendo to build, we're building, and every time we get to the crescendo of the build, that's when they collapse the situation, right? So it's not strange, and it's not nothing that we haven't seen before, but it's not even frustrating. It's just laughable, and it's laughable and idiotic. Like, we get to where we're getting to the point. It'd be better to let us get to the point and let the situation go, right? So anyway, people, we are back, and we have our people back. We are appreciative that you are watching us. I see the Just Flow is watching. They did something with the sound. I corrected the sound, and so we are back in style again. Okay. So we were talking about clipping hard. Oh wow. Okay. So we were talking about the situation in North Royalton, and I was talking and speaking to the fact that putting together the information together for you, but we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on, not because I'm worried about that, but just because I can't remember, and that's a problem. That's a problem that we're right there at the crescendo to bring it home, and that's what they would count on. But the next thing that we were bringing up is not much better for those who thought it good to kick us out through the box, right? This one is sent. This is a meme. I thought it was real good. I thought it was so good that I would leave the person up. Rosalind Diane Maxwell, right? Now, we often talk about this on the show. We talk about Generation X, Gen X, right? And I don't like using Caucasian images to represent black images. I just don't. Because that is the old indoctrination that white people represent black people. So when you see a white person in a movie, you don't have to see black people in a movie because white people represent black people. And that's not so. So that is an old indoctrination. But this is just so good. And the representation of what you're seeing is so good. So we're looking at the boomers, the generation before us, right? Civil rights generation, the boomers, civil rights generation, greatest generation. Then you have the millennials that come after us, which I thought my nephew was a millennial because he was born in the millennia. But, those 35-year-olds could say they're millennials, whatever. But then you have Generation X with the martini, chilling. Nothing to see here, but based on knowledge and information. So here we go. This is Rosalind Diane Maxwell. Like I said, we often hear the concepts that we talk about brought in memes, and I thought this was pretty good. So let's go through it. I am Generation X. Anyone who was born between 1965 and 1979, we are the last generation that played outside until dark. We are the first to play video games and the last to record songs off the radio onto a cassette tape. We loved roller skating on Friday and Saturday nights. We survived the 80s with big hair and the era of extravagant everything. Now, I would rewrite that. That's for Caucasians. I would rewrite, we survived the 80s and the 90s and the crack epidemic and the 100 to 1 and the 3 strikes and you're out extravagance of Ronald Reagan and now President Biden. Everything. We took walks with friends without worry of being taken. We watched cartoons on Saturday mornings while eating a bowl of cereal. We programmed the VCR before anyone else. We remembered learning how to use a computer for the first time. True indeed. We played Atari and Nintendo. We are the generation of Soul Train, Gilligan's Island, Dukes of Hazzard, Scooby-Doo, Charlie's Angels, Wonder Woman, Little House on the Prairie, Happy Days, and Good Times. We traveled in cars without seat belts or airbags. Wow. Well, the seat belts were there, we just didn't wear them. Rode in the backs of pickups and lived without cell phones. We did not have flat screens, surround sound, iPads, Facebook, and Twitter. But we had a great time, all the time, with each other. Copy and repost if this is you. Hashtag age challenge, hashtag Generation X, right? And let's see what people say. I am here and had some technical difficulty myself. Tracy says, I can hear you now. Miss Ash said, I am here, had some technical difficulty myself. True, so true, the way you retold that. Yes. Thank you much. That's probably about the earlier situation. So let's see. That's Generation X, right? And we talk about Generation X. And Generation X, all the other generations, the boomers, thank you for taking away our Social Security, for your irresponsibility being the hippie children, okay? We thank you for that. We appreciate you for that, right? And we would like to thank, of course, we would like to thank the millennials for being so stir crazy. We like to thank you. We like to thank you for that. All right. And all the other generations, you have to wait because the generations after us are doing such things. Speaking of generations after us, I don't know if you would call him X or a Y, or excuse me, not an X, that's us, but a Z or a Y. Why are they here? Which I don't have a graphic for, but no worries. Let me bring this down so you can see me. Did you see the meme where Little Nas X, now he's got little, like Lil Wayne in his name, he's got Nas, like Nasir Jones, and then he has X in his name, like Extension, or in most cases, the Nation of Islam X, or Malcolm X in his name. So Little Nas X, have you seen the meme where he went out, he said he was bored, and he went and bought him some size D titties? Oh, this is real, people. Little Nas X, I don't know what generation you would call him. Why are they here? Or is Zenith? I don't know how they could be Zenith, but he went out and got him some D-size titties. These are the generations coming behind Generation X, and that's why they need to sit down for a little bit, because we have to be like the selfish generations before, the generation, the greatest generation in the civil rights generation, who would not let the reins go while we're in this predicament, practicing the politics of personal responsibility instead of rolling your sleeves up and getting in on the grind, right? It's not the way you dress. It's not the way that you look. But this generation, the generations that's coming behind, are on something totally together that will, something totally different altogether, that will be the destruction of American black people. This guy got him some D-sized titties, implants, and he's bouncing around. I was bored, and I got me some D-sized titties. And this is direct effect of what Joe Biden did when he signed the 100-to-1, and he pushed 3 strikes and signed and got it signed into law. One by Ronald Reagan, one by Clinton, taking the males from out the household. Black women have done as well as they could, but they needed the males. But when you're sending males away to prison and they're coming back being violated, they can't teach another male how to be a male because they have been violated themselves. And you voted for the man who made this all possible. You're voting for the man who won't admit the Antifa is out there on the street. Oh, we have video still. Don't go anywhere. The show's just been extended for the time that we missed. Right? Don't go anywhere. Time's not up yet. Smash the share button, smash the like button, because I have video. What do you have to say to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You know, this is ridiculous. I had to pull this up so I could see it. They have it blocked out, but they have it looking like, you know, he's got these breasts. I seen another thing that said he did not go and get breast implants or whatever, but whatever he made this look like, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. It doesn't matter. The fact that he went there and presented an image of breasts on him. See, do you guys see the problem here? Do you see where the lines, these lines that's going on now, they're not blurred. There are no lines. There are no boundaries. And so whatever it is you think you want to do or present that day, you can just go out and do it. But this is, y'all are quick to say, label certain things conspiracy theories. But there is some mental programming going on. And a couple of years ago, I just had this drop in my spirit, and it's like, you know it's what you can prove, but I live by what I know, all right? Now, I might not be able to convince you of that, of what I know, but I know when something drops in my spirit, I see that as gospel, all right? So I've been seeing something like a big, like almost like something like a soundboard, a control board, if you will, a big control board, and there are
they're clipping your sound, they're clipping you.
Okay.
Right? So I just want to let you know.
Okay. So they're soundboards, something that I've seen like a soundboard, and they're uploadable programs. And when they get ready to upload these programs, that's when people start acting crazy. When people start doing real crazy stuff, it's the upload of these programs, and when they adjust the dial, they turn the dial on, somebody do something random, off the hook, just out of place. That's one of those things. You have people, their minds are twisted, and they leave you sitting there scratching your head. Something is wrong here, and this is beyond the norm. Something else, there's some other controlling entity going on here. And so you guys better keep your mind, this is why we stress to you about the intermittent fasting and the eating properly and all the things, the amalgamation of everything that we tell y'all throughout these broadcasts, Monday through Friday, is to deal with and to bring you to a place where you understand what you're looking at is something that's not exactly random, it's planned, and if you want to protect yourself against being crazy and loony beings, that you're going to have to protect it. You're going to have to put yourself in a position to be safeguarded against being controlled.
All right, people. So the video portion of the program, video presentation of the program. You saw the Super Bowl, and the question was, did the refs call penalties to ensure that a certain athlete, a certain quarterback won Super Bowl 55? That was the question. But that question was meant in a larger context. My sister described it as a soundboard where people do things random. But when you have referees out there in this court controlling what you see, what you believe, who you will vote for, who destroyed your own people. This brings us to the real Super Bowl, right? The real Super Bowl. It's not what was happening on TV, the glitz and glamour. Everybody was happy. What Russell Wilson wasn't happy. He was up there accepting a humanitarian award, but he wished he was in the Super Bowl. But I predict that Seattle will never get back to the Super Bowl again. And you want to know why? Because all they had to do was hand the ball to Beast Mode, and that would have been it. No one jumping the route, and they were just that close to getting their first championship. And Pete Carroll was still the coach. I don't understand that. I think that's his name. I don't keep up, but I believe that's his name. It just seared in me watching Sherman, his face go, what? After they had played a perfect defensive game. Defense was clearing out New England. And it seems like it was a setup when all they was just hand the ball to Beast Mode, but they didn't want Beast Mode to say, I'm going to Disney World. But anyway, this is what was happening outside. Oh, they're really clipping here. This is what was happening outside. Let's see if this will play here. Oh, wow. Okay. Is that Antifa? Let's back that up. They're clipping us here. Let me see. Is that Antifa out there? I'm backing it up so you can see it again, right? Is that Antifa, the people in black running? What are these blacks that are running that aren't in all black? What are they running from? And what are the people who are in all black? What are they running from? Is Antifa there in Florida? Or they want you to know that Antifa was in Florida. Is this Antifa in Florida doing some damage to property? Right here. The zooms in, right? Is this guy that's down in the left lower third, and the people that are, it looks like some kind of destruction that happened right here in the middle third. Is it Antifa at the Super Bowl? And they didn't put it on the news. But it's being covered by people who have cell phones, right? This is the real Super Bowl. This is what's really happening at the Super Bowl, but they wouldn't want to say that the people that the Democrat Party were supporting as just an idea moved from Portland for a weekend, moved from Washington State for a weekend, and moved over to Florida to come and do destruction to destroy the economic base of the city, right? Is this Antifa? Now, you know, it's runs smoother, but they're clipping, right? So it runs smoother, it clips. What is going on? Of course, we take it in stride because we're used to seeing the overseers on horses coming through. This is in Tampa Bay, Florida. The overseers on horse and police coming through with the sirens because something is going on up the street. Now, what was going on up the street? Was some kind of action? Was Antifa in the place? Was Antifa in the place? The anti-fascists. Wow, they're really clipping now. They really don't want us to tell you. So that question was not literally about the game. Because the game is what the game was. It's Kansas City 9, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31. Right? Brady, 10 Super Bowls, won 7. That's really what the game was about. So the question was more about society, what you're seeing in society, right? That's what the question was about. Not so much about the game, but the referee of what you see and what you won't be able to see, depending on what powers are reffing the game and clipping us at the same time, want you to see and don't want you to see. Do you realize that on Sunday we were not clipped one time this way because we weren't talking politics, but soon as we got on Judas and the Black Messiah, they temporarily blocked the screen, and afterwards they started doing the clipping. When we got on political matters, they started doing the clipping, but when we were going through, we were talking about Borat, and we were talking about Boys State, and we were talking about the Cuban with Louis Gossett Jr. None of this was going on. It's too obvious. Now here's something that you probably didn't see. And, you know, I'm an editor, so people had many different vantage points because the TV did not show you the streaker, because there was a streaker at the Super Bowl, and you know, Mahomes was under the snap, and he just threw his hands up and walked over to the side, and then the cameras just turned to different players. Brady was looking, Mahomes was looking. They were looking at this guy, and the other players were looking, and the announcer was just laughing, not saying exactly what was going on, other than it was a streaker. So, but people have their camera phones, and so a person grabbed it and put different vantage points together, but they didn't edit it down into a more workable piece. But that's where I come in. I cut it down to a workable piece as if it's a film. So let's play this and let's see if this clipping slows it down. But this was the streaker. This is the real Super Bowl. This is what they didn't allow you to see. As soon as I said that, perfect streaming. Now let me add, this is not copyrighted material because this is people's cell phone. So really, the edit that I've just done is actually the copyright on it because I just did the edit, right? And I have the FBI and the logos up there, so my copyright is on this. And so this clipping is unfortunate, but let's see if we can get through it. Let's play it again. Here, coming up are two security. Heavier security black guy just falls like a crash test dummy. He thought he was going to be red in the red jackets. Second guy comes on the left side, thinks he's going to get him, but he falls like a crash test. He thought that he was going to be able to go back and about those days when he was one in football, and they were overcharged. This is what I wanted to show you. And if this clips today, we're going to show it fucking again tomorrow. So what difference does it make? I want to show it again. So, what is this? I'm going to show it again tomorrow because my edit is good. And, I pride myself in my edit. And I'm going to show the other one tomorrow again because the Super Bowl is an all-week discussion after it happens, especially when it happened in Black History Month, taken away from Black History Month festivities. But, so here we are. The guy to the left, they were charged because they had been watching the football game. So when you watch how they try to get this guy, everybody is trying to do the tackle moves like they are a linebacker or a free safety. You'll see it. They were really trying to put it on this guy. So he had moved. He was slipping this guy. He slipped the guy to the right. He slipped the heavier security in red jacket to the left, causing him, because he thought he was going to do a tackle on him, he missed him altogether, and he gave him a straight arm, right? Gave him a straight arm as he slipped him, and he fell down and went face first. Boom! And it was crazy. They were entertained. And they may have been people who were supposed to be of the upper echelon, but I can tell you that they enjoyed this spectacle like people who would have been considered low class. They enjoyed it. So let's continue. Let's see. Oh! You see that? Give him a straight up. He gets to the security. Security tries to get him with a forearm tap. Oh! He slipped him and the security went both forearms down on the AstroTurf. He's going to feel that in the morning. The guy slipped the full elbow, the double elbow, slipped it. Dude's adrenaline, whose elbows went down to the AstroTurf, he's going to feel that. He felt it a little after his adrenaline ran off. He's going to feel that. This is the real Super Bowl. This was entertainment personified. Let's back up a little bit. Watch now. Guy comes up from the left with the white shirt on. As guy is going to get to the touchdown. He said, I'm going to do what Mahone and the Kansas City Chiefs could not do all night. I'm going to get to the end zone and score. I didn't just do all this streaking for nothing. I'm going to do what Kansas City was not able to do all night. Score! Here he comes. Whoa! He just tucked his head for safety, and then here come the rest. They put their knees on his back, knee on his neck, knee on his legs. Another cop comes up and puts a knee on the other leg. I mean, this is training from the Israeli police. Except for they didn't have him down for 8 minutes and 49 seconds to sap the life out of him. Let's see who this person is. Look at that. The dude jumped on his calf with his knee. Slammed down. I mean, they actually wanted to hurt this guy. Right? People were screaming MVP for those, you can't hear it because they're clipping, but they were screaming MVP, MVP. because he did something that Kansas City and Mahomes couldn't do. He scored. He scored against all odds. I mean, they were coming for him, and I know he's going to feel those knees in his back and on his neck and on his shins and on his calves. Probably later that day because his adrenaline was pumping. But, yeah. Somebody in that scene says, "Take it off." You know, so this is the real Super Bowl going on. What do you have to say?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I went and looked this up. This is ridiculous. This guy, if you see a close-up on his face, he looks some kind of triple crazy. I'm going to send you this after we're done, but this dude got a G-string. That pink shirt he has on is a thong that goes up the crack of his behind. This dude is the Super Bowl streaker who wore a neon pink thong suit and had more success running than the Chiefs, was part of a marketing ploy for a porn website. X-rated site launched by YouTube star and prankster Vitaly Zadarovelsky was emblazoned on the man's outfit. We effing did it, the 28-year-old tweeted shortly after the man, later identified as Yuri Andrade, was pinned down by the security guard in the fourth quarter of Tampa Bay's 31 win. It's not yet known what punishment the streaker will face for the incident. Him, who also ran into during the World Series and World Cup games, has had several run-ins with the law. In April, he was charged with felony aggravated battery after allegedly jumping out of his car and tackling a woman to the ground. Last January, he spent 5 days in an Egyptian prison after he was caught climbing the country's iconic pyramid. So this guy, but he has more than 10 million subscribers on YouTube. So he makes his living just being a jerk.
Yeah, but these are the type of immigrants we have in the country today. Thanks a lot, Biden. How's that proactive? Well, I mean, he makes money. I guess he'll pay taxes, and that's all they care about. They say they pay taxes. While they're sending 36 something million back across the border. My head don't screw on and on. But anyway, people. So we got through the show, huh? Even with the clipping. We come on Monday through Friday. Hashtag observations TFR. I'm Crazy D, and this is my special guest host, my sister Tonya M. Congress. And we're going to be out now, but we got everything across that we wanted to, and I'm going to tack it together, and it's going to be like it never happened on the replay on TuneIn, on Google Podcasts, on iHeartRadio, and what's that other? I went through Tuner, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. We're on all those platforms. Go to your Google search hashtag You Found the Spot, and you will see all of those various platforms listed in the search, and you choose which podcast provider you want to listen to. We will see you tomorrow on another great episode of hashtag Observations TFR Tasty Tuesdays.
Here's the thing about your movie, why I made the curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart. Crazy.
Observations TFR, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday.